Okay, so today we're talking about a creature that honestly looks like it walked straight out of a fantasy novel. But this isn't fiction. This animal is very real, it's incredibly shy, and sadly, it's one of the most endangered animals on the entire planet.
But before I tell you what it is, let me ask you something. If you had to guess, what do you think is the world's most illegally trafficked mammal? I mean, what's the first thing that pops into your head? A tiger, right? Or maybe a rhino? An elephant, perhaps?
Well, the answer is tied to this number right here, over 1 million. And get this, that's a conservative estimate. That's how many of one kind of animal have been poached and trafficked just in the last 10 years. That makes them, and it's not even close, the most trafficked mammal on the planet.
So, what is this mysterious creature? Well, it's time to finally meet the pangolin, which some people call the scaly anteater.
So here it is. This is the pangolin. You know, there are actually 8 different species, and you can find them in Asia and Africa. And its name? It's actually from a Malay word, pangolin, which gives you a huge clue about what it does. It means one who rolls up.
Now, I know what you're thinking. It looks a lot like an armadillo, right? That's what almost everyone thinks, but it's a super common mistake. They're not related at all. It's actually a wild example of what scientists call convergent evolution, where 2 totally separate species end up evolving similar features, all on their own.
And not armor. I mean, it's really the pangolin's signature look. Those scales are made of keratin. That's the exact same stuff our hair and fingernails are made of. When they're babies, the scales are soft, but they harden up really fast into this incredible overlapping shield.
But wait, it gets even cooler. The pangolin's weirdness doesn't stop at its scales. It has this unbelievable tool for eating, a tongue that can literally be longer than its own body. Seriously, it's so long it actually attaches way down in its chest, letting it get super deep into ant and termite nests.
And this all ties into its main defense move. When a pangolin gets scared, it does exactly what its name says it does. It rolls up into this tight armored ball. It's almost impossible to get through. The scales lock together and protect its soft belly. I mean, this works great against a lion. But here's the heartbreaking part. For a human poacher, it just makes the pangolin a ball that's super easy to just pick up.
And that vulnerability, well, leads us to the darkest chapter of the pangolin story. The one defense it's had for millions of years is completely useless against the single biggest threat it faces, a huge global black market.
So why? What's driving this horrible trade? Well, it really boils down to 2 things. First, its meat is seen as a luxury food in some parts of Asia. But the second reason, the biggest driver, is its scales. Those keratin scales are in high demand for use in traditional medicine.
And these aren't fringe beliefs. They're really widespread and have been around for a long time. People claim that grinding up pangolin scales can cure all sorts of things. Everything from helping new mothers produce milk to, and this is wild, curing things like cancer and asthma.
Okay, but here is the most important part of this whole thing. There is zero, absolutely zero scientific proof that these scales have any medicinal benefit at all. Remember, it's just keratin. It's literally the same as grinding up and eating your own fingernails. And yet, this gap between superstition and science is pushing the entire species to the brink of extinction. But this story isn't all doom and gloom. Thankfully, it's not just about destruction. All around the world, there are dedicated people fighting to give this amazing animal a future.
And make no mistake, the threat is massive. It's global. It doesn't matter if we're talking about the pangolins in Africa or the ones in Asia. Every single species is in trouble. Their numbers are dropping fast because of nonstop poaching and losing their homes.
Let's be specific here. All 8 species are officially on the IUCN Red List as threatened. But for 3 of them, the Chinese, Sunda, and Philippine pangolins, it's even worse. They're listed as critically endangered. That's literally one step away from being extinct in the wild. It's as bad as it gets.
So what are we doing about it? Well, conservation efforts are really starting to ramp up. International trade bans are being enforced a lot more strictly. We've got anti-poaching teams on the ground. And there are huge awareness campaigns trying to get the word out and reduce the demand for these products.
And you know what? This stuff works. It could make a huge difference. Just look at Taiwan. It's such a great story of hope. They used to be a major exporter of pangolins, but then they passed some really strong conservation laws and set up rescue centers. And today, Taiwan has the highest density of pangolins anywhere in the world. It just goes to show you, it is possible to turn this around.
Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, you might be wondering, they're cute and weird, sure, but why does saving this one animal really matter in the grand scheme of things? Well, it's because the pangolin is what's called a keystone species. Think about it. One single pangolin can eat tens of millions of ants and termites in a year. That's a lot of insects. By keeping those populations in check, they basically act as ecosystem engineers, keeping forests and soils healthy. They're way more important than they look.
And that brings us to the final, really big idea here. The story of the pangolin, it's more than just about one animal. It's kind of a test for all of us, isn't it? It forces us to look at the real-world damage caused by misinformation, by illegal trade, and by our own impact on the planet. The pangolin's future is really a mirror reflecting our own choices, right now. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what do we want that reflection to look like?